So welcome to our full review. I'm sure a lot of you have been following already. We've just come back from a recent trip to Africa, so starting at the capital of Namibia, Windhoek, all the way down the coast and finishing in Cape Town. The video should showcase some of our favourite moments. We've got some amazing footage. Massive thanks to Tom for the cracking
for all the content.
Basically all of the content, all the good content, the drone footage, etc. We're going to have a little bit of a chance to chat about the bikes. So we did the whole trip on the Triumph Tiger Rally 900s. And yeah, we're excited to share the whole thing together, and we hope you enjoy.
So day one, actually, does it count as day one, the airport stuff?
So we had an overnight flight, so I'd say there's probably day zero. So if we start right from the start, a lot of us met here for a spot of lunch. So if you haven't visited us here in South Wales, you stop by and have some lunch.
Lovely plug.
Yeah,
such an early plug, welcome. But just get it in, get out.
Get it in. We shared a minibus and we flew from Heathrow.
Not sure it matters.
Doesn't matter. From London, the London airport. Day one, we did finally make it to Windhoek. I think we were travelling in the end for about 26 hours or something, and we met our bags there. So day one, we managed to collect our bags at the airport. We got to some really cool accommodation in the capital of Namibia. It was called Urban Camp, I think, if I remember correctly. And it was literally it was inside. Well, it was in the city, but it was like a campsite, and we stayed in these teepee-style tents, and they had an amazing bar. And it was the first time that we met Joe and Werner and met the whole group together. So as you can imagine, a couple of beers, signing waivers and insurance policies, and I think we had some amazing German-style food. I think.
Yeah, that was pretty much our first night.
Day one, done. Day two.
So day two, Windhoek to Spitskop.
Nice.
Was that good?
Yeah, it's good.
My sort of memories of our first day riding was before we actually jumped on the bikes, and it was seeing everybody strapping their luggage for the first time to the bikes. We got a great clip of yourself on YouTube seeing how the Krieger bags, which bag was that, just out of curiosity?
The Universal, so the US, we both had US 30s, so the 30-litre Universal system, yeah.
And then just walking around the car park, guys were getting their quad locks.
Yeah.
All mounted and attached, comms, and for, all of us, the first time we've actually jumped on the bike to go down the road to a cafe to have some food. You'll see plenty of footage throughout this clip of Toby and how good he is on the bike. And even he said when he first jumped on the 900, mm-hmm. he was a bit like, wow, this is a bigger bike to what he's used to been riding, especially off-road. So, yeah. Yeah,
it was cool. And like one thing I would say about the Tiger 900, it does have quite nice adjustability on the height of the seat, because obviously everyone was jumping on for the first time, and you do have some adjustability of the seat height, which was literally like unclipping a bolt, and then also the suspension could easily be adjusted as well. So people were kind of having a play and getting used to the bike, and yeah, it was super exciting. And we went for a coffee, didn't we? A bit of breakfast, and just to kind of familiarise ourselves with riding abroad. And that was everything. Everyone was pretty excited.
It's that, isn't it? Everyone, is buzzing, but there's still that little bit of fear of the unknown. And then we hit the road, and to start off with, it was pretty much just long straights on tarmac, getting used to riding as a group of 10. Mm-hmm. So, fairly large group, a little bit silly buggers, but just having fun, nice constant pace. We got cruise control on the bikes, heated seats, heated grips, just getting used to all the different stuff, all the features. Before we hit our very first dirt road, we stopped off there where some of the locals were playing football and all the kids. So that was really cool. I actually looked back at some of the photos from that particular part, and not only do we all look younger and full of energy, it was just it was such a warm welcome, even from the first stop off. But with that said, before we know it, Joe was like, right, this is where the fun begins. All I could see was his trail of dust, followed by Rowan and Toby, who were so excited to get going.
And it was the first time playing with the modes. So the Tiger 900s have various different modes, from sort of road, rain, you can customize per user. But then what we used for, I'd say 90% of the trip were, off-road and then off-road pro. So depending on which one you had traction control and bits and pieces turned on. So I think a lot of us initially just stuck with off-road because we were a little bit nervous about turning it all off. Yeah. And it was our first taste of riding in the train we were going to be spending the whole 10 days in. So it was pretty bit of a baptism of fire, I'd say.
Because it was our first experience on dirt. It was sketchy, but we all got through, and you stop off and people are buzzing, covered in dust, and we're like, wow, is this what we've got coming up?
Yeah, and I think there was this like moment when we turned up to our first sort of camp station, Spitzkoppe, and you kind of came off this dirt track and you could see these huge, I guess, rock formations, and it was the first real feeling that like, wow, this feels like Africa, doesn't it? It was like such a beautiful landscape, all turning up as the sun was lowering, and Joe said basically follow me and we'll find our camp spot, and I just remember thinking like, wow, if this is day one, like we've got such an epic trip ahead of us. Yeah,
it was incredible, and again, we have to shout out to Tom for the footage, especially in the introduction. You would have seen a lot of his clips, and hopefully if I've done my job properly, I'll be overlaying them now. But just stunning scenery, amazing campsite. We're all laying under the stars, we had the fire. It was a proper insight and taste of what was to come.
Mr. Merlin, we've just arrived at Spitzkoppe.
I could be pronouncing
it. Yeah, so as you can see behind, it is phenomenally beautiful. And we all made our first leg without stacking it. H is going to chat a little bit about his jacket and trousers first of all.
Hi everyone, H from Baffle. So, day one over, I've been wearing the Merlin Mahala Raid outfit, bottoms and top, matching gear, right? And I think most notably, what I'd like to just mention is venting. It was 37.5 degrees at one point today, and I was relatively cool. I don't think you can be cool if you stand still at 37.5. When you're moving, this has been amazing. It's nice and loose. There are lots of adjustments you can make. If you want more ventilation, you can kind of open it up and just let the wind breeze in. I think initial impressions are very good, really good. I think out in a place like this, you're never going to get away with it. Anything other than ventilation is just topmost priority, right? So there's my 2 pence for the first day.
Day 3?
Into day 3.
Into day 3. So the first night of like camping and getting a taste of being in the wild. So no showers, nothing, right? We're like waking up on camp beds.
We woke up next to each other.
We did wake up next to each other, yeah. Sharing tents.
Sharing tents.
I think that morning again was just like excitement, wasn't it? I think we had a sort of we weren't rushing to get up and about, so a lot of us jumped on bikes and we just literally explored the area, and we had a chance to get some photos of the gear. So if you can snap onto that.
Yeah, actually, funny, what comes straight to mind was the first time I fell off. And actually it was the first time a couple of us fell off the bikes because there was a little bit of soft sand patches, really slow, loads of turning. So the front end just caught a couple of us out and we went tumbling. So in a weird way, it was quite nice to get out of the way and be like, okay, taste what sand is like in Namibia. But yeah, it was a really cool morning. Everyone just having fun, getting used to a little bit of the slow stuff.
Yeah.
And then we
hit the road. Out. Yeah, so like it was not a hard day riding. Again, a bit of gravel to get us kind of out onto the more main roads. And we were heading to the coast. So temperature was actually a lot colder than expected, down to 14 degrees. So the extra liner is going in for the Ken Boy, the cold killer.
Cold killer for Ken Boy.
And he's got it in the lovely, the brown edition, Ken Brown.
Ken Brown.
Rowan's about to send it.
And Rowan's about to go on to the sand.
Well, it wasn't hard riding for us.
No. Yeah, so I think we got to the Skeleton Coast, and there's some amazing footage of a wreck of a boat, which it almost looks like it's out of a film, and a beach essentially, and in true medic fashion.
Yeah, it was quite funny. Rowan was eyeing it up, and just took a run at it, hit some thick sand, massive ruts. We were watching going like, wow. Firstly, a shout out, I suppose, to the Rally Pro, the Tiger 900. Seeing Rowan firstly hit that hard, give it some.
Mm-hmm.
The bike was flying around, but he was able to navigate around deep sand and come back. It was like, that was pretty cool. And then Toby was itching to follow him. And then again, absolutely smashed it. What Toby likes to mention is that when he finished and he came back, everybody was cheering him like he was king of the sand.
Yeah.
Where when Rowan came back, he didn't get as much. So again, we all apologise, Rowan. You deserve way more, and Toby, we got your back.
Yeah, and we stopped. Well, we ended that day in a place called Swakopmund. We had a really, really nice hotel there, so it was quite a nice contrast from almost travelling and then spending 2 nights in tents in a row.
It was intense.
Yeah, to stop off at a nice hotel and charge phones, have signal. We had a really cool bar, which we sort of German style bar, I guess. Some amazing food. I'd say from the outset, one of the biggest surprises was just how incredible the food was. When we went into it, there's probably like a preconceived conception of, I guess, African food, but it was huge German influence, loads of like amazing bakeries, like schnitzel and steaks. So I'd say from the outset the food just was unreal.
Yeah, so vibe high, buzzing.
Yeah.
Joe was drinking from a glass boot, wicked place, great beer. Then we had up early to crack on to day 4. So, well rested, lovely hotel, lovely sleep. I was probably snoring a bit, can't remember. A couple of beers, a bit tired, can't happen.
Every chance. Big nose.
We hit day 4, hit the ground running.
This is the first day that Joe was like, okay, we've got a big day, so we're going to get up early. So early breakfast, packing up the bikes. The weather forecast again, like we were really lucky with the weather. We didn't, until this point, sort of hit any rain or anything, so it was cool to kind of hit the road.
And if I'm right in saying this was sand dunes?
Yeah. What I guess Joe and Werner are amazing at is throughout this trip they knew that we were going to be hitting patches of deep sand that we literally couldn't avoid. So there was a specific part where they gave us some coaching. So like if the bike falls over or if you get stuck, so like if the back wheel digs down, actually tipping the bike over and filling the hole and getting us to a downward slope to help us sort of get started again. Like if we hadn't had those pointers, we'd have been literally screwed.
Yeah, like get into Rally Pro.
Yeah, literally no traction control, making sure that all your weight's at your back and
just starting in second.
Yeah,
all those little things. And Joe actually said after an hour, he was like, right, I'm going to get the guys out here because he could see us. We were getting a bit fatigued. It was hot. It was hard work. And a local tour guide / gentleman very kindly asked us to leave because it became apparent that it wasn't a motorcycle training ground. It's fair to say that this day 4, it was a mental day. So it started off with the sand dunes. Then we hit the road, and it was probably our first proper experience of long corrugation. And I mean, the bikes are just getting battered. And it was the first time you started to see some of the guys' wing mirrors sort of doing circles as you're riding. We lost a couple of number plates. Werner, to be fair to him, because I know he'd be watching this, amazing eagle eye in the support truck, the Bucky.
Bucky, yeah.
So he was at the back and he could just spot the guys' number plates that were flying off. But honestly, we were getting smashed. And when we stopped, I think physically you could feel this is hard work.
Whenever you own your own bike, you'd never put it through that sort of thing. And I've never experienced anything in any vehicle where I'm like, surely this thing is going to rattle itself apart. But yeah, the suspension was unbelievable. It just took beating after beating after beating. And yeah, like I was just so impressed on how well it coped with that like constant battle.
Yeah. And then when we stopped at this one section, Joe wanted to take us. We then had to go off-road and it was rocky and sandy. And it was like, well, actually, that morning June session prepared us really well because everyone was just ripping through this stuff.
Yeah.
It's the hardest terrain I've ever ridden through. And it was just mad. It was rocks, it was stones. And anyway, we get to this massive section. There's a downhill soft sand section that Rowan and Toby hit, and they were pretty much skiing their way down to this massive open stretch, and they were bombing. And we were just at the top watching them hit this section. And it was like, this is cool. They are cool. And then you were getting itchy feet thinking, I want a bit of this.
Yeah, well, Charlie did it. Like, fair play to Charlie. He took every opportunity. Like, I've never seen someone just keen to give it a shot. And when him, Toby, and Rowan came back, and they were just like ecstatic, being like, that is just the most amazing thing I've ever been part of. And Rowan just looked at me, he's like, you've got to do it. And I'm like, So yeah, I walked my way down pretty much this sort of like section to get down there, but I am just so glad I did it. It was like much more hard, compact sand, so it was much easier to kind of navigate. But yeah, being down there was literally once in a lifetime opportunity, and I was just so glad I did it.
Yeah, and then funny enough, when we were then leaving that section,
yeah, my confidence was high, and that was my first wake up call to be like, okay, like, you're not that good, because I was trying to go out there and I proper stacked it on the way out.
So then we hit the roads again, more corrugation, very tough. Stop off, and that's where I spoke about the Krieger water pack, the Hydro 3.
Yeah, Hydro 3.
So I spoke about that there. So
fair play, never used one of these before, and yeah, absolute godsend. It's hard work. Not only is it cracking flags, very hot, but yeah, it's also quite tricky and quite tough. Loads of standing up, so physically quite demanding. That's the boring bit, but in a nutshell, they're absolutely top draw.
Yeah, I can't speak highly enough of the Krieg stuff, to be honest.
Can we do that?
Yeah, it's got a military grade 3 litre pouch in there, so plenty of water, and I've kept my like passport, phone and wallet just like super.
Just click stuff like that.
You've got a belt strap as well.
And put it on there.
But yeah, we love Krieg. Yeah, and to reiterate, like, it's the first time us using proper luggage and with sort of hydro packs with the kind of the water pouches, and with Krieger, it's something that we stock in the store now. We just could not speak highly enough of it. It was just so user friendly. You could tell the quality was just unreal from the start, and it made it through the whole trip, and super impressed with that.
So the day continues, long day. We then hit a little bit of tar. We stopped off and everyone was just like, oh, this is amazing. And it lasted all of 20 seconds. But then we kept on going, and we hit this beautiful section of drops and twists and turns. And it was like a nice light dirt, so it wasn't too sketchy. We stop off at this sign, which I can't remember.
Yeah, Tropic of Capricorn.
Oh, nice, there it is. We stop off. Oh, I should probably read this. And yeah, it was cool. Everyone's just buzzing. High fives, fist bumps. This is sick. This is great. Sun was just drawing, so it was like, right, let's get to Lodge. We've heard they might get the Welsh rugby game on.
They're famous for apple pies. So they've got this amazing bakery there where they make their apple pies from scratch.
So we're all buzzing, let's get going. So we're hitting this stretch, it's a lovely road, it's light gravel, it's nothing bad at all, we're all having fun, decent pace. And yeah, the most unfortunate thing happened, which we have to mention, we have to talk about, and it's our good friend Tom who got taken out by an oryx, which, if you're not sure, is a pretty large African antelope. And it's just one of those freak things. Running across the side, there's fencing with wildlife quite a lot as you're riding, and quite often they're trying to run in between these fencing and stuff like that. Anyway, we didn't see it, but unfortunately, yeah.
It's a sight you never want to see when you're out with your mates. It's because of the dust, we were kind of the next pack back and came over the hill and could kind of see commotion. And speaking to Tom after, he remembers the whole thing, and thankfully he's fine. He's got injuries, but he just said that it happened so quickly where the oryx just bolted in front of him and he hit it square on, and he did manage to stay on the bike for like a good sort of 10 foot, and came away with some pretty scary injuries, and it was a bit of a wake up call on how vulnerable we were, like in the middle of nowhere trying to get hold of an ambulance.
And as you said, we probably won't go into like massive detail on the incident and how it all came about, because this would be a great time to head to the GoFundMe page. We're trying to raise funds for Tom because his insurance didn't pay out. So with massive medical bills, he's back here in the UK, absolute champ. So hit that link. We'll have it in the description below, and then you can read exactly about what went on, because there's more to the story. It was absolutely mad.
And day 5, so kind of the wake up after the absolutely roller coaster of the day before. Pure elation, and then obviously some crazy stuff happening. But to wake up again in a beautiful place, and I think the weather, especially that morning, was like beautiful, wasn't it? There was a plane coming in and landing, and it's just a really cool spot. And we got a chance to try out the bakery, and so we decided, because of what happened the day before, that we were gonna kind of have a slower morning. Joe, from the day before, from the June incident, had taken some advice and spoken to some people around, trying to make sure that, sort of accepting that we were in the wrong for riding off-road and going to kind of meet it head on. So we ended up at a Namibian police station. We've got some footage actually of us outside this police station, which probably captures it better than we can explain now.
Yeah.
And we'll let you watch that.
Hello everyone, it is Ken and Ray here with an update on day 4. Day 4. So we found ourselves at Namibia police station, and we thought this would be a great time just to go over some things we've come across yesterday.
So some lessons learned. First lesson, riding in sand. To learn that lesson, we did have to veer off the road, which then taught us that Namibia take conservation incredibly seriously. So it's apparently against the law to come off the road, which we are finding out now. There was talk of being detained until the 1st of November court date. What's great is that they do take it so seriously, and for that you can see it's kept beautifully. But we've learned the hard way.
So we're cracking on. We're making good pace, and all of a sudden the road ahead veers to the right. And in Namibia, not loads of signs, there's not much going on. You pretty much just find out by following the roads. I, personally speaking, I was between groups, so I was sort of riding on my own, and as I couldn't see the group ahead in front, I thought, they're obviously just cracking on and this road must be fine. So I've hit this section at a decent pace, to find out that it's a temporary road. There's loads of roadworks going on, and this is quite deep sand. We later called this section Normandy with what unraveled in front of us. But as I was going, luckily there was a nicer section which meant I could stop safely without falling off. Joel came off to the right, but he was okay, but he hit this massive ditch in the middle of the road. Of course there is. I turn around, Harry's decided to go up the rocks on the left. I'm not sure who was to the right of him. As you hit the section, not too fast, you decided to park your bike on its side and yourself.
I just remember doing a good, maybe 60, 70 mile an hour on gravel, and kind of coming around and seeing kind of brake lights, but then people just doing this. And if you've ever ridden in sand, you kind of want to be able to slow down before and then power through it. And all you want to do when you hit the sand is come off. And like you said, you could just see people off everywhere. And yeah, unfortunately, my front wheel started going, and I panic and.
So it's just everyone's getting tired. We're moving bikes, we're picking up bikes, and then we're spending hours.
Yeah. So it's a section of literally 200-300 meters. Probably took us about an hour. Just again, I think, unfortunately, with a seed of doubt from the accident before, you start hitting sand. You're tired. It's getting hot. You're falling off. All you're thinking is like, I don't want to hurt myself. We've got so long to go, and it's really an interesting psychology of kind of trying to get through this period. Yeah,
and it's like riding confidence as well, isn't it?
We got through it, and actually that period after that was one of my favourite pieces of riding. Do you remember the big rollers, and you can see the sun coming down? And normally Joe would make sure that we're kind of arriving in the light, but actually riding as the sun was coming down, there was like something quite special about that. And
it was a bit of both. It was amazing.
Yeah.
I just remember, sunsetting, and as it was like shadows on the road, so you couldn't really see at one point what you were riding on, but you're like, this is amazing. This is awesome. This looks class. But it's a bit sketchy, so now I can't really see.
Yeah.
Anyway, we get to Greenfire. We get to the lodge.
There's a big sign, isn't there? You come through the gate and it's like Greenfire, and we've arrived, and we had a day off planned for the next day. So we're thinking like, brilliant, like this has been a crazy 2 days.
Yeah.
This will be a nice chance to reset. Joe saying, we've arrived.
Good news.
Good news, yeah. And it's pretty much dark now.
Yeah, so it got dark, and the lodge, and this was typical of everywhere we pretty much stayed, there's a good distance to get to the lodge, and it's, little off-road tracks. And we get to this one section, and we just see deep sand, and it's probably 60 yards or something like that. We all went and we all cracked on. Lessons learned, we were all riding a little bit too close to each other. So I think Harry came off to the left of me, and then I stopped to help him out. And then before you know it, everyone's sort of stopping and falling off. You didn't stop or fall off.
I didn't stop or fall off.
What did you say? It was like Moses parting away. Sam come flying through, and it's like, actually, fair play, that's your best option, because you're just going to get stuck.
Yeah.
Long story short, we did call this the bowling alley, because it was like someone just rolled a bowling ball and everyone literally just peeled away. Difficult section. As everyone left, I tried to get going, starting the bike in some deep stuff. Couldn't get going, the bike's come off the side, and as I've tried to get away, the bike's just caught my back foot, so I'm sort of lying on the deck, face down. My back foot's caught under the bike. Thankfully, everything fine. Shout out to Fuel for the boots I was wearing, because...
So the Rally Raid boots.
Fair play.
Toby and you were both wearing those boots, weren't you? And yeah, actually having support on the ankle for some proper boots was just, game changer.
Gives you confidence.
Yeah.
Because like with that on it, I was like, oh, these anyway. I'm absolutely broken. I actually probably should overlay the picture of me.
Yeah, absolutely cut to those photos, because all of us were just... Yeah, some people more than others. It's amazing how much difference like just 2 or 3 extra falls can make to like energy and confidence and psychology. But yeah, I think some guys especially were just pretty broken that day.
To roll into day 6, which is our day off the next day, because there's no riding, there's not as much to talk about. One of the highlights of the morning was Sam waking up, and you said you were going to go you were going to go and see sunrise. And
I remember sitting on these rocks and looking out and seeing the sun come out on the kind of the mountains in front of me, and I was like, that's strange. And yeah, I literally completely missed the sunrise because I was sat on the wrong side.
And when the boys found out, they absolutely loved it. But we missed the actual sunrise, but
I managed to see some of it.
Yeah, we managed to see some of it, and
I think there's a video of us walking up.
we got some footage of the views there. But you're spot on. The only thing to note really of that day, apart from rest, recovery, spending time with everyone, is we went out on a bit of a safari?
Safari, yeah, like a game drive.
Game drive, that's what we're looking for. Which was amazing, right? It's class.
Just see some amazing views and some of the wildlife there. A couple of oryx again, and
we don't talk about oryx.
No, we don't talk about.
It was class. Had a beer with you saw sunset. You caught sunset. But yeah, that was wicked. Properly needed. But anyway, we'll crack on to the next day.
Okay, day 7. So
I think I just when I got there.
Tonight's news. Yeah, waking up after a day's rest was much welcomed. I think it took a bit of like reorganising again. We'd kind of, because we knew we were having a day off, unpacked, and we had a washing done, which was actually super helpful. I think there's a video of me strapping up all my gear again and talking about that. Just good morning, everyone. So we've woken up at Greenfield. Greenfire. Thank you, Joe. Completely different day to yesterday. No wind. It's absolutely beautiful. So we're just packing up the bikes before we leave. Next stop to Knox. So myself, Salts and Harry are all using Krieger, the universal system. So Salts and I have got the 30, so 30 litre. I've been keeping things like sunglasses. We've got the muck off visor cleaning stuff, which we sell in the shop as well. Just useful stuff that if we get somewhere and the support truck's not with us, we've got like bits and pieces. I've got like my warmer layers in here, as well as my flip-flops. Krieger comes with a 10-year warranty, apart from this inner lining, which is the waterproof lining. So that can get changed out for like £5 or £10 or something. So it's super useful to know that it's all waterproof. In terms of packing it up, it's like a roll bag system here. I'm gonna let some air out actually. Just roll it up on my face. We clip in here. Been so impressed with this stuff. As you can see, it's pretty battered and bruised already. So so it's got 4 straps on the top here, and essentially the universal system allows you to put this on any bike with a rack or without. So literally we took the seat off and we just put these straps underneath. So it comes up over here, and then these straps over here can obviously be loosened off. And then it literally just grabs onto these loops down here. Then you can like tighten it up. And then obviously all 4 go on there. What this system allows also, obviously it's 30 litre capacity at the moment, but it's got extra loops here and underneath here. So essentially you can bolt on additional bags on either side to make it up to, well, I think if you had 20 on each side, you've got a 70 litre capacity. Yeah, so it's super versatile. We've loved it. It's just really practical to have it on the bike with us. Yeah, excited to get back on the road, I think, for the most part.
Again, I can't remember loads about that particular ride, but nothing particularly happened. It was great. We were making good ground, good distance.
Did we stop off at the place with the
with the dog?
Carrot cake and the massive
Yes,
dog?
we did. Yeah. Amazing carrot cake. Amazing.
I ate Oryx pie.
Yeah, for Tom.
Yeah, for Tom.
And interestingly, again, there was a couple of sections there where
it was a tough day. It was. I remember it being predominantly pretty predictable kind of gravel corrugation, but there were times where there'd be from the wind just like patches of sand, and it was just concentration. Again, it was just making sure that we didn't become complacent, and enjoyed the scenery, and we had a couple of cool stop-offs at some cool venues, and
and there was some like gated ways as well. You'd get to roads and there'd be like a random small gate.
Yeah.
It'd creep up on you sometimes where the left would just come in, and that's where comms were really good for this. So we got to the bowling alley 2. The reason I'm sort of mentioning this bowling alley 2 is because it was like daunting. It was again big ruts. It was actually decent. But it was just like, it's just enjoyable. Like you feel a bit of the nerves of, this is going to be a bit of a tough section. But because of what's happened previously in the day, you're like, all right, I'm just going to rip through, and got through fine. And then we made our way to camp.
This beautiful, amazing spot, wasn't it? Is this the best day? Well, one of the best days coming up? No, it was
Is it?
potentially.
It could be the best day.
It was. It would have been even better if Tom was there, obviously. But I think because it had all come to this moment, and with all of the, I guess, like training and getting used to the sand, and it was a day that most people were most apprehensive. I know Harry won't mind us saying that he really didn't want to have to do this day on sand, just because like it was tiring and everyone was tired, and he caught his ankle a couple of times, and
Was the size of
he
a balloon.
struggled to walk. And just we kind of managed to get ourselves out of that initial campsite, and we had already named this known section of sand as Dunkirk.
But yeah, we got there. We had this section in front of us, and it was like, right, this is it, one at a time. You went off first, bang, see ya. Even at the starting line, everyone's going, and the bike was literally going left to right, swooping, but powering through, and we all cracked on. I did the same. I went after you, and I was thinking, I felt quite guilty because when you start off and your ruts are horrible and wavy, you know the person behind you has to navigate through these ruts. Anyway, we get through the other side again.
I remember thinking, like, we were talking on comms, just being like, okay, like, it's okay, like, we're still going, and because you had space in front of you and you can kind of keep it constant, we're starting to say, like, oh, I'm actually quite enjoying this, and then, like, you're moving your feet and you're even turning in the sand bit, and you're like, oh, I think, like, we've got it. And then, myself, you and Harry all made it through this, really long stretch.
I think that moment, and we've actually got a great picture of celebrating with Harry, which I have to put on.
But then we were just waiting, and we had for the whole trip Werner in what is known as the Bucky, so that's a kind of support vehicle and
two-wheel drive,
and they tried to go through the deeper part, and we taking a top road, and we got messaged that basically they were stuck right at the start.
Yeah.
And
3Ks.
No way that we were going to try and ride back through that just in case. So we all started walking back to try and help. And you don't see many vehicles when you're out there, but there was kind of like 2 or 3 4x4s that were passing at the time, and we managed to hitch a lift back up there.
Yeah, so I jumped in one of the. It was a Land Cruiser V8, and I asked if I could jump in for the lift, and it was a lovely gentleman called Hans, who he was Dutch, and as I was talking to him, he was like, oh yeah, I ran across the Sahara with my mate on I can't remember what bike it was now off the top of my head.
XT500
It was, yeah, XT500. And he's like, I completely know what you guys are going through, and like, how's it, you enjoying it? Oh, and he's like, oh, bloody sand, and
his wife wasn't quite as successful.
Not as buzzing as Hans was. No. But it was like cool, and I said, oh, like, is there any chance you can, as we got there, I was like, can you help out? Obviously, the guys don't know that I'm in the Land Cruiser. So as soon as I poked my head out the window, and I was like, oh, this is Hans. And yeah, he had some sand tracks for the back wheels. And anyway, in Land Cruiser style, got the Bucky out, which had a trailer with 3 bikes on the back. Reason there's 3 bikes is with some of the guys feathering the clutch a lot throughout some of the deep sand sections, the clutches were getting battered, and on a couple of them they pretty much gave up. So there's 3 bikes on the trailer, and the Bucky and the Land Cruiser brought it through. But you're right, that was a 3-kilometer pretty much walk there and back.
So it's not what you need. Like, we were already tired, right? And although we had water with us, like walking in full gear all the way over there in the height of the sun, it was like. Probably didn't need that in terms of zapping energy, but
it was tough. Yeah, and then we cracked on, and to be fair, it was pretty steady riding. Filled a petrol station.
Had a really cool lunch. I can't remember. We had some sort of interesting drink. Do you remember we stopped in that town and you filled up your tyre there?
Yeah, that was a cool stop off.
Yeah.
We got onto this section to head down on a riverbed where we were going to be staying all night, and again, my riding capabilities meant I was just cruising down these passes. But I remember thinking, this is amazing surface. It's just like, it's predictable, and this is cool. The reason I say that is because in front of me I could just see all this dust flying, and Rowan and Toby were just loving it. They were just going sideways pretty much all the way down to this riverbed. You were behind them, just eating dirt.
Yeah. It was just such a pleasure to watch. I was just like, oh, that's some dust with it.
But that was wicked. Sunset, really cool. We got down to this riverbed.
It's a really cool spot, and I think Joe had heard of it from a friend, so it was like pretty much no one knows of it, and it's complete wild camping, and that there's no facilities there. So we kind of pitch up at this riverbed, and we just hit it as the light was dropping. And I just remember after a day like that, sitting around that campfire. It was that was Toby's story night, right?
Toby's story. It was actually one of my. It was probably my favourite night.
Yeah.
No
phone signal again.
It was, and especially the way the trip developed. And I think people were on we were buzzing.
Yeah.
We got through that hard day. Everyone's like, this is class. Joel made some of those.
Oh yeah, so Joel, a friend of ours, owns a bakery and a cafe in Bristol.
Yep.
So because his clutch had gone on his bike, he was in the bucky, and on our stop off, he picked up some ingredients and made, I can't remember what it's called.
It was like dough in it, South African
style dough that you do on a braai, and he was proving it in a plastic bag in the back of the bucky. So I was like, it was wicked when he packed out this dough that he'd made in the back of the bucky.
It was just class, and Werner did amazing braai. He sort of had like 3 stations going on with all the food.
Really impressive.
Actually, I think we had a little bit of wine that night.
We had red wine.
And then I thought we were all going to be telling stories, but it just turned out Toby wanted to tell us all of his stories. Day 9, Gamchab.
Gamchab, so yeah, I think
Gamchab.
That riverbed section is called Gamchab.
Gamchab. So we're heading to Springbok, which is
South Africa.
So
in theory, that's not meant to be a big day. I think it was a short ride to the
border.
That's what I was looking for.
Yeah.
Charlie has got some great content of him being a content maker.
Oh, incredible. It was like he had a film crew with him.
I know.
You'll have to see the footage, but it was completely genuine. Completely genuine. It captured him waking up. We'll play that.
Because we'd come out of the riverbed, I guess we were near an active river. Is that what you call it?
An active river. Wow. You could just say river.
Just river. Yeah, it was flowing. Because we'd been wild camping as well, no showers. We found a spot where we stopped and we all went swimming in the river.
Charlie didn't wear any clothes.
Charlie went completely naked. It was awesome. I can't remember what else happened there.
Did I throw you off with Charlie?
Yeah, completely.
It's just that we spent a total of like 22 hours at the border.
Okay, H, hit us.
Right, we're at Customs, crossing between Namibia and South Africa. We've been here since lunchtime. It is now 8 p.m. And there is no sign of us moving across this border anytime soon.
And that's where we are. That's the update. So this is where we are.
We are living inside a border tonight.
So we've made it over to the South Africa side, but they're going through load sharing, which I believe is where all electricity goes out for 2 hours for this point, but I don't know, could be longer.
Yeah, so it looks like at the moment that we're going to be sleeping here tonight, and we'll keep you updated.
Where are we, Ray? We are in a chalet lodge. So we've ditched the bikes. We're going to go try and get back to them in the morning, but we're just going to head down here. And we're in South Africa now.
How did this come about? How are we here?
Your mate Anton, that you spoke to for 2 hours in his office, is mates with Adrian, that owns a couple of chalets down the road. So, could make it up.
But I think all of us did want to have a good night's sleep. We're all knackered. We just want to have a shower, go to bed. But then you're there. It's that.
An oyster.
Okay. Thank you.
Again, amazing hospitality. The South African couple.
Yeah, couldn't speak highly enough. Yeah, they were brilliant. They opened up the bar for us at 11 p.m.
I know. But I think
I recommend stopping in there. They're awesome.
For all our viewers who are stuck on the Namibian border heading in South Africa, you never know. But anyway, we
good night's sleep.
Yeah, good night's sleep. Again, it wasn't that smooth sailing. Werner started to work on the bikes and work some magic with the clutches, swap some plates out.
He basically made 2 good clutches out of 1 clutch, so he alternated plates, so like a worn one and a good one, and got the 2 bikes that were on the trailer back on the road out of Tom's clutch.
Which was quite nice because it'd been a while since all of us had been on the road together. We were just about to hit loads of tar, like some nice like sweeping roads. So fair play to Werner for doing that and how it came about. But yeah, it was really cool just get the pack together on the final stretch down to Cape Town.
Yeah, and like compared to what we were expecting from the itinerary, because essentially we'd lost a night, we were supposed to be going from sort of Gamchab and then making our way down to Springbok, but because of that whole literally 24-hour delay, we ended up having to skip a night. So yeah, we kind of pinned it all the way to Springbok. Initially,
just to stop off.
Control, it was like super windy. It was really cool. Like there was amazing wildflowers. You can kind of smell.
Nah, didn't see them.
There was points of it where it's like, wow, this is completely different to how Namibia felt. We literally stopped off. I think we had literally a half an hour window at Springbok to get fuel, get some food, and then again we were back on the bikes and trying to head down to Lambert's Bay, basically, wasn't it?
And again, it's like it turned out to be a big day because of that.
Yeah.
And I think we all understood at this time. It's like, right, well, we call ourselves Team Invincible. We're like everything's just getting thrown at us. Nothing's going to plan. We're making this a massive day of riding. And we're going to be battling, probably going to be arriving at dark. And we did. As we were turning off again into this section, we take a right. And Joe's like, oh, shit. Beep. We're hitting some dirt roads again. We both found out. We were like, this is tough.
Surely this is not how it should be.
Like, bit of tinted visors, but it was dark and it was sketchy. One comms like, this is mental.
Lights, camera, action.
Coming to you live 12 kilometres from Lambert's Bay. Joe just thought he'd chuck in one last little curveball and we hit a dirt road. We had hares, dogs, all sorts of things jumping out of hedges at us, which was interesting.
And we've dubbed this road the Everlasting Road. And if you look behind you, you won't see very much. And that's exactly what we were facing when we rode along it for the last 40 kilometres.
Saltz and I also managed to do half of it without turning our lights on properly, so lesson learned there. Turned up and we had, for the first time on the trip, our own rooms. We had little, like beach hut things, which was really cool, and turned up and they had red wine and it was just really cool spot actually. Good morning. So we're at the end of the trip, so the last day on the bikes today, so I just wanted to talk a little bit about my Merlin gear that I've been wearing the whole trip. I'm going to start off with the boots. So the Teton or Teton, so they come in a brown or a black, and I must admit I've been just so impressed with these things. Couple of key points that I really like. They're obviously made out of a tough 2.4mm cowhide leather, so they felt super sturdy the whole 10 days. Inside they've got some really nice features in that they've got this Hippora lining, which is exclusive to Merlin, so it's waterproof and also really breathable, but also an antibacterial sole put in at the bottom. So genuinely we've been riding for sort of like 4 or 5 days, 4 or 5 hours a day, and actually, like, if I smell them, genuinely, you might have to do a smell test for me if you turn the camera.
Bloody hell!
They actually still smell like new boots, which is just mental. So yeah, I can't recommend these enough. They've got D3O armour in them as well, so not only are they super sturdy but super protective as well. So yeah, big thumbs up from the team. Still smell like new boots, which is just mental. So yeah, I can't recommend these enough. They've got D3O armour in them as well, so not only are they super sturdy but super protective as well. So yeah, big thumbs up from the Tetons.
Trousers.
So for the whole trip, so we've been riding for at least 10 days. I've been wearing Merlin's new Teos, which are out for 2024. When speaking to the guys at Merlin about the trip, obviously we knew that most of the riding was going to be in weather like this. So yeah, we've hit temperatures of 35 degrees in the desert. not only have they felt really protective with the D3O armour in the knee and also the hip, these huge mesh panels, they've just been so breathable. They've got this really nice adjustability on the side here, so I haven't needed a belt. Got zip pockets, got pockets in the back. So yeah, for a pair of trousers that I've worn literally the whole time, yeah, I can't think of a better pair for the trip, to be honest. Okay, so my final piece of Merlin that I've been wearing for the trip, again, running with that sort of breathability because of the hot weather, I've been wearing the Shenstone from Merlin. So you'll be familiar with the Kotec 8-ounce wax that we stock in the shop for things like the Purton. So it's a Scottish piece of wax cotton from Halley Stevens. So it's nice that it's also a British brand using British cotton. But again, we've got these huge breathable panels in the middle and out the back. So I actually can't believe for like a heritage style wax jacket how cool this has been, even at temperatures like 30 degrees with the wind coming through. Yeah, it's been awesome. We've got the level 1 shoulder and elbow, again D3O, and then we've got the back panel as well. Fun fact, D3O armour is now vegan, so if you want to have a little bite of a piece of D3O, then it's vegan, so yeah. Part 2, Shenstone jacket. So I forgot to mention, I actually took it out for the trip just because we weren't expecting rain, but it does come with a zippable waterproof lining. What I've also do when we've hit some of the cold weather, I've actually just put a couple of layers and like a puffer jacket underneath. So as a jacket that you could use in the UK, you can still layer it and it is still waterproof. So yeah, actually probably one of the most versatile jackets I'd be able to wear in terms of, yeah, sun, but also having some luggage on your bag, popping some extra layers, and you can actually use it in quite cold climates as well.
For all of you who are still with us, thank you.
Yeah, good work. Yeah, it's been a lot.
Great work.
Top fan.
Top fans. We're on our last day. This is it. Lambert's Bay to Cape Town. Yeah, what to be said apart from lots of miles.
Yeah, well, like waking up at Lambert's Bay, there was, I don't think you went, but we had a walk over to the coast, and it was really cool to see this massive swell. Like, I hadn't seen waves that big for years.
Not since you were bodyboarding.
Yeah, I think again, like when you arrive somewhere in dark, you don't fully appreciate kind of where you are. But yeah, it was a beautiful spot. Some good breakfast. I think we tried to watch some of the Wales game.
Yeah.
But yeah,
Watch some highlights.
Yeah, we had quite a nice ride. It was all tarmac for the rest of the day to get into Cape Town. Yeah.
And then the plan, we're pretty much, I've been to Cape Town before, so I've done Chapman's Peak, sort of know the roads. Actually, it was the first time I ever rode a full-size motorbike was in Cape Town, so very fond memories of it and the roads. So I was excited. I knew it would come up, and it's like anything, you want other people to experience it. So I was like, I really want you to ride Chapman's Peak. I've mentioned to you loads of times. I was like, it's so cool. It's like amazing. So just before we got into Cape Town, we decided to grab some shirts from a shopping centre just for the last night, really. We know we're getting it. It's been the most mental adventure. Let's do this final stretch, which is amazing. Put on some shirts and then drink some beers. And I really hope I find some footage to put on for last night drinking some beers.
We stock a brand called Deus in the shop, and it's something that we enjoy ourselves, and we kind of like a lot of the stuff that they do in terms of their venues. So we made sure we had dinner at their space in Cape Town. Because it was such a brutal thing, we didn't really want to run the risk of ruining the next day and kind of being hungover. So it felt like it was a well-deserved absolute blowout.
But yeah, that was pretty much it. And then to finish things off, the next day we were going to the House of Machine in Cape Town. Again, that's actually where I picked up the Triumph Bonneville for my first ever biking experience. So
yeah, it's like come full circle from us way back when, before we were a business, and kind of having this Instagram page and kind of a more of a social media focused thing. Yeah, you starting that journey over there, having your first taste of a big bike, and then going to House of Machines, which we will have definitely taken some influence. We've been big fans of what they're doing over there. To kind of, for all of us to experience that together was Yeah, amazing.
Even going there again, it's still refreshing because you look around, you're like, oh, that's sick.
Yeah.
Love what they do there. Love what they like, how they do that.
Really, really warm welcome. They were kind of expecting us, and yeah, we all managed to get some stuff from their store, which is cool.
Yeah, it was cool. And it was the perfect finish really to the whole trip. But yeah, it was amazing. I think this is a great time to thank our sponsors. No, on a serious note, we honestly couldn't have done the trip without the support of our sponsors. We can't say thank you enough. Yeah, we totally thankful of the support. So thank you so much from both myself, Sam, and Team Baffle. Before we finish off, we are running a Baffle raffle. It's a ticket for Tom. That's how we branded it. We mentioned it before, the cost that's occurred for him, not only to bring him home, but to mend him. It's actually gutting how much of this trip he had to miss out because of the accident. So no doubt he's itching for another one. But an amazing guy who needs as much help as we can give him. So yeah, we're running a ticket for Tom, £10 ticket.
If you're watching this before the 1st of December, we're going to be doing a draw to win a free coffee for a year, limited to one a day. So if you're watching it before the 1st of December, head on to our website, or we'll put a link again.
I'll put a link below.
You put a link in below.
Yeah.
£10 to enter. There'll be a draw done on the 1st of December, and if you win, free coffee for a year, one a day.
Yeah, it goes such a long way. It accumulates. So yeah, thank you so much for the support. And on that note, share the ride. Why did we do that?
That's horrible.
Goodbye.